The national reconciliation policy started in the context of the Cold War, where the Soviet Union troops were still in Afghanistan. So the way the engagement with opposition groups, some of them who were armed and not only political actors, were manifold. It was at an international level where UN did negotiate heavily with the government of Afghanistan and other regional stakeholders, including the United States and Soviet Union. The Mujahideen, who were based out of Iran and Pakistan, were as much a part of those negotiations. However, when it came to the Geneva Accords, they were not present at the table. So you had the international aspect of the negotiations with the political elite of the armed groups, and then you had a national aspects of national reconciliation, where instruments were in place to reintegrate commanders who would come back and wanted to be a part of the national reconciliation process, and that was much more of a national a part of the National Reconciliation Commission's approach to work with the government to do so for the armed groups. So there were that aspects, and then in order to reintegrate them or have them take charge of the security of the communities, the National Reconciliation Commission it did involve elders, head of tribes, to be able to negotiate the reintegration of the armed groups. So in a nutshell, there are many layers in terms of negotiating involving the armed groups in the reconciliation process. One is that the context of Afghan national reconciliation is very different to what it is now that's going on in Afghanistan, because the conflict at that point of time was 7 years when the national reconciliation policy started. Today, the conflict has been going on for almost 40 years. So it could not be compared, but what could be learned is the commitment of the leadership to reconciliation, the transparency of its processes, and then also to have instruments in place to ensure that people are a part of that process. I think those are the main issues I would like to highlight.